Hello and welcome to the Trail Network podcast. I'm Rachel Drake.
And I'm Katie Asmuth.
And we've got some fun topics to discuss today. We were just chatting a little bit offline and getting really fired up about all the exciting news going on in our sport, exciting things going on in both of our lives, upcoming races. So let's dive right in. Where should we start, Katie?
Oh my gosh, so much to talk about. I think we have to start with where are you going next in the world? Can we talk all about Rachel Drake and Tyler? Like, what is happening in your lives?
We are heading to Japan tomorrow morning, actually. So we're recording this on Tuesday. Heading to Japan tomorrow, and Tyler's running the Ultra Trail Mount Fuji in 10 days. And I'm running they have a 40K version at Ultra Trail Mount Fuji. I think this is the first year they're having it. So I'm super excited to get in on the action. Kind of similar to when we went to Hong Kong. He ran the 100K, I ran the 30K. Kind of just can't help myself, but get to play
I
as
love
well.
it so much. So is Fuji a part of the World Trail Majors?
Yes.
Okay. It's
Yep.
always been a race I wanted to do. It's historic. It's been around forever. It's absolutely has incredible performances that have been thrown down there, like some of the all-time greats. So fun. I'm so pumped for Tyler to get after that 100K. But can we talk about this 40K? I am so intrigued because you told me there's one aid station. Is this? Tell me
Yeah.
more.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I actually messaged the race director because there's a lot of stuff that I was trying to figure out around the race. It's always different navigating a website translated from another language into English. Basically, yeah, so it's 40K. I think there's around 5,000 feet of climbing, one aid station kind of halfway through, and you circumnavigate around the city, but kind of go up in these mountains. And I actually couldn't even find the elevation profile, just the map and the total stats. But I've been working with Precision Fuel and Hydration. They pair all their athletes with a dietitian that kind of helps you figure out your race plan. So this will be my first race where I actually have a professional helping me. And I'm super excited because I feel like this is an area that I really could use some work on, and I feel like if I can figure that out, that's gonna help me a ton. Yeah, one aid station, but you can use the shops along the way. So could you imagine
This
you're
is
just
my favorite
racing and
part.
then you're like, I need some mochi.
I mean, I don't even know. What are you going
I
to
don't know.
get mid-race
I don't know. We'll
at
have
the
some
gas
time there
station?
to try all the Japanese gas station
Candy, like
delights. Yeah. And the other thing that's crazy is the required gear for the 40K is the same as the 100 miler. This was another thing I asked them about. So I have to bring rain pants, rain jacket, 2 bandages, a first aid kit, 2 lights with replacement batteries for both, a blinking light for like the road sections, a liter of water, like a lot of equipment. And I just think it's kind of I mean, it's not hilarious because I know that, there's going to be quite a variety in what kind of finishing times people have, but usually when I run a 40K or a 50K, I'm like going super light and trying to go fast. And I mean, everyone's going to have pretty stuffed packs. So I think
it's
that's
going to be
that's
like weight
interesting.
training.
Yeah, and I wonder, Tyler and I were chatting about this too. I wonder if this stems from the accident that happened
Yeah.
over in China a few years ago. And I know it's in Japan, but I wonder if that like has impacted the trail culture over in Asia to the point where they have just more strict regulations around their races.
Yeah.
Um, but
It's a
yeah, that
really
was
good
something
point.
that surprised me.
I wonder too, because you mentioned it's through the city a lot, right? Like, and I was thinking about this with canyons because there's also mandatory gear, nothing to that effect, but close for this
Mhm.
100K. That's basically, I mean, it's in Auburn, right? Like you're not
Yeah,
in the I mean, you're kind of in the wilderness, but like you're never a couple miles away from civilization.
right.
And so it's just feels a little bit overkill to have anything mandatory, but that is definitely our kind of US perspective. And a lot of these UTMB races have these mandatory kits. But I
Mhm.
just, Yeah, it feels like if it's in the city, it's even more, right? Like, why?
Yeah.
I don't know,
I
but
mean, I'll report back on,
yeah.
I guess, how remote it ends up feeling because we definitely do it is a trail race. We do go into the mountains, but it sort of circumnavigates a city. I'm curious to see. We also have to bring gloves and, like, a warm hat that covers our ears,
Oh my gosh.
which I think it's actually gonna be pretty warm, so I think that'll be interesting as well. I mean, part of it could have also been that they didn't, like, think about or wanna make a different required gear list for the 40K because this is the first year of having the 40K. So it's
Just slap on a
possible that
recommended. Why make it
yeah, I don't
mandatory,
know.
you know?
I don't
Like, I
know.
don't know.
Another thing I'm super excited for with that race, though, is Fuzhou is racing. She was
The
2nd at
40K?
Western. Yeah, she's racing the 40K.
Let's
Yeah,
talk about Fujao.
she messaged me on Instagram and she was like, "Hey, are you coming out here? I saw Tyler is on the list for Mount Fuji." So, super excited. Hopefully share some miles with her. And yeah, her year is already off to a roaring start. She has run 2 races both in March. Ultra Trail Jamen by UTMB, that was a 50K that she won. And then she ran a 60K in Beijing that she also won. Yeah.
Man, she is, whew, for me, she's one of my top picks for states. Come on.
How
Like,
could she not be?
how could she not
She's the
be?
leading returner. Yeah.
Yeah, she's the top returner. So,
Yeah.
yeah, second at states last year, and God, what a performance! I'm trying to think about her times from the year prior, but she shaved off close to an hour, even 45 minutes, maybe. I mean, that's insane. So, anyway, I'm
And the
really, really excited.
conditions were worse. Like Tyler and I were just talking about this. The conditions at Western States last year were more challenging than the year prior. And I think Tyler can say that. He ran both years. Like he said there's less tree cover. This is another thing that has come to mind where we get so focused on talking about course records, but rarely do people take the time to dive into the nuances of the conditions on that day, including weather, course changes. Yeah, just like, was it muddy? Was it dry? Do you have thoughts on this, Katie?
I mean, I do. We think both of us have talked about this before, but I think the course record. So we have to be going off course record now. It feels like you win. It's like not enough. You need the course
Mhm.
record to be celebrated or to get that UROI. People are going for what's the course record? We need to know how many course records you've had this year. But to your point, it's like courses change. The weather changes, and that's a part of the game, right? That's what makes it fun for sure. But
Mhm.
I mean, you think back to 2023 when Courtney sent the insane time that she did at Western States. I mean, I don't know how that will ever get broken just because the course was different that year. I've raced 3 times at States, and that year for sure was faster because out of Forest Hill, you didn't drop down onto trails. You ran another, I don't know, mile and a half or so on the roads. I mean, that time, it's just you were faster that year because of that. And also, if it's a raft year versus through the river year, right? Like things like that really do put minutes on your time. And we think back to Jim's time of last year, only 4 minutes difference, like from the course record. And you're like, oh man, you had everything against you last
Did
year
he
compared
even
to what,
get UROI?
no,
Like, did he even get, I'm sorry, not UROI, but like Ultra Trail Performance? Was he in the top 5 even for that? I can't remember.
I can't remember either, but I think he must
But
have been
he
because
wasn't top 3.
I know. Well, and he wasn't coming in his best self, right? He was coming in injured, which was wild. I mean, for me, I just want to talk about Rod last year because that was such a
Let's talk
like
about Rod.
personal, like I'm so stoked that happened. But then you're also like, damn, Jim still pulled it off. He still pulled it off and put on a gap. Like it was pretty impressive. And anyway, it's really fun to banter about states, and I can do it all year long. But I will say that as we get closer and closer, you kind of start feeling like the excitement of it all for sure. Yeah, I think I think the course record will fall this year. I don't think it will fall on the women's side. I think it will fall on the men's side. What are your thoughts? Quick break to thank Osprey for sponsoring this episode of the show. Osprey has been a leading maker of premium outdoor backpacks and bags for over 50 years. There are many reasons I turned to Osprey, but one is because of their pillars of sourcing sustainable materials. By incorporating recycled and Blue Sign approved materials into their products, they're helping to keep harmful chemicals out of our environment. Osprey has eliminated PFAS-based durable water repellent in 100% of their textile products, and as of fall 2024, 100% of Osprey's products have 100% recycled content in the lining fabric, and 99% of Osprey's products have 100% recycled content in the main body fabric. Osprey continues to reduce environmental impacts and produce more sustainably designed products every year. This is the type of company I want to support, and I know you do too. Learn more at osprey.com. Now back to the show.
I didn't realize that the year that Courtney set the record was the year that the trail section after Forest Hill was just a road section, like multiple miles of road, which, like you said, it's part of the game. There was fire damage there. They couldn't have the trail go through there, and that's probably the last time they'll ever do that. And it's
Yeah, it was actually
totally.
because of rights. It had nothing to do with the fire, actually. It had to
Oh, it
do
was
with,
right.
yeah,
Okay.
it was the property rights. They weren't allowing runners to go through their property because
Okay.
it's private property. And so there's a
Got
lot
it.
of back and forth. I remember Craig was super stressed about it. And yeah, at the end they couldn't come up with a
Agreement.
way to make it happen
Mhm.
when race day came. So but
Okay.
now it's been resolved, it sounds like. So now we won't have that problem anymore going forward. But yeah, it was definitely faster because of it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I guess with that in mind, I want to bring up Gorge Waterfalls 100K, which just happened this past weekend. Amazing performances on both the men's and the women's side. I was really impressed seeing Trace and Knopp being so close to Adam Peterman as well, and hearing Jeff Colt talk about just the way that he navigated the technical sections and was able to gap the field, just moving super well. I think he's from Alaska, so that totally makes sense. But there's been a lot of chatter around how amazing it is that so many people broke course records on both the men's and the women's side. But as someone who has spent a lot of time in the gorge and knows those courses very well, Jim Walmsley's record from 2021 had 1,000 feet more of climbing and a lot more technical running, whereas the course that was run over the weekend, while still very beautiful, involved a lot more road section, which of course is going to be faster. So
Right.
not to discount the performances, but just to like highlight some of these nuances and say, yes, everyone's getting faster, but also in trail, we can't always talk about course records like they're comparing apples to apples, because a lot of times it's just really not.
Well, and performances are so quickly forgotten. I think that's what kills me, right? Where it's like these,
But records are not.
I know, and it's frustrating because you're like, it was a different course. So wait, how is it a new record? Though going sub 8 on that course, Adam Peterman, like, wow, incredible, right? But you're also like, well, it was a different course. I don't know. Like, how is that? I don't know. Whatever. But I mean, I love the guy. Don't get me wrong.
I also wonder if Adam, like, if any part of him was just like doing what he needed to do to win and, like, not necessarily doing every single thing to have the best, hardest day and really going to the well, but like just racing to win, which I totally respect.
Yeah. Did you hear his post race
No.
interview? Yeah, I was listening to it. So Leah was on it. It was fun to watch her and Debo interview the podiums for the men and the women. And Adam said he didn't realize until a couple miles to go, like left in the race, that he was going to maybe get under 8 hours. And so that's when he was like, I'm going for it.
Oh,
And I think he got it by
okay.
like 30 seconds or something. And he really
Okay.
had to sprint it in, which is really rad. So I think he
Cool.
was just going for the win. And then it was like, oh, no, I can set this record and I can go under at 8, which is pretty cool. So, um,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, wait, can we also talk about Shay? Because I've
Oh,
never
yeah.
seen
Oh
Shay
my
race
gosh.
like this. Shay Aquilino.
So
So should we need
she's
to do back. Of course,
amazing.
I'm hoping everybody knows that the 100K was it qualified for the world's long course, which is going to take place in September in Spain in the Pyrenees. And the top 2 runners for the
American.
American runners for the 100K will go get a world spot. And then there's 6 total for men and women, so 12 runners total, I should say. So 4 more slots for resume places, and they historically have given it to runners that have competed in the qualifying race. Just like they're showing up, they're going for it. So like it would surprise me if Jeff Colt didn't get a place, even though he's 4th. He's been on Worlds before. He'd probably get in. But anyway, we'll see what happens and how it all shakes out with resumes. That's going to be announced April 30th. But to backtrack, I just want to say Shea Aquilino, I mean, she has been right there for a golden ticket for so long. She's like always in that 4th, 5th spot. Like, man, she's a fighter. And to have her pull off a win from like
Point to
wire to
point.
wire, she ran the whole
Yeah.
thing in front. It was so cool. You never see that in 100K.
Yeah.
So very, very cool. Like really pumped. I really want to have her on the pod because I want to dive in deep to that psychology. She was talking about in this post-race interview, like that wasn't her plan. She was like scared, like, wait, what do you mean I'm in first? Like, I don't know what to do. I've never done this before, but she just was like, all right, I'm just going to do what feels comfortable. So clearly she's super fit. And so she, the winner of Gorge for both the men and the women for the Gorge 100K, Adam Peterman and Shea Aquilino will both be running Western States and Worlds 80K, which is very, very cool. What a race schedule for 2025.
Yeah.
So really fun to see.
I gotta say, I ran not a ton, but I ran a little bit with Shea in Moab this January, I think. And I could tell even back then, I was like, dang, she is so smooth, so fit, even 4 months ago. I feel like I kind of saw this coming, that she was going to have just an amazing year if that's where she was at, back in January. So.
Hell yeah. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's not overnight success. She keeps shooting her shot. She keeps going for it, and
yeah, she's run canyons. Like, I don't know, the last 5. Isn't that her? I wish Leah was here.
I mean,
she would know.
I know I mean, she's run, I think she's run all of them. Like she's run Bandera, she's run Black Canyon, she's run, I mean, I feel like she's always at these golden ticket races. And I think it's really wild because she got into Western States with a lottery ticket. So, which is cool that she's really showing
Okay,
up.
she ran Black Canyon 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025. So she was 20th in 2021, 8th in 2022, 6th in 2023, 15th in 2024, and 6th in 2025. So just like that consistency, that commitment to the process, I mean, that's something that's really cool.
It's super cool. Yeah, I really want to have her on. Okay, we've given a couple shout outs, but I do have another shout out I want to give because we're just kind of doing news in a slightly different way, just through the lens of celebrating people specifically. But I want to give a shout out to Allison Baca.
Mom crusher.
I mean, honestly, she's a mom. Okay, shout out to her. Also, she's a teammate. Okay, that's cool. But also, her range. I think she looked at Rachel Drake's career and she's like, you know what?
I can do better.
Get that range?
She's like, I can do better. Let me show you.
No, I think she was just like, how cool. I think she must be so inspired by your career because her range really is incredible. And we don't see a lot of runners like that, Rach. Like, that's why you are so like outstanding, extraordinary. It's like being able to have these short distance races, doing Golden Trail to doing 100 miles and like being competitive through it all. And then setting course records at JFK. Like what, it's like the range there. Well, Allison Baca's got it. She was 6th at Worlds in Innsbruck at the long course. Okay. She won Val d'Aran last year, 100K, which is gnarly, 20,000 plus feet of gain, super technical, right? And then she comes out and freaking like destroys this 50K at Black Canyon, like insane fast. Incredible. I think she set the course record, speaking of course records.
I think so too.
But then I think she did. And then she just ran the Desert Rats 50K and demolished the field. She gets 2nd overall. Like, what? Who gets 2nd overall at a UTMB race? I don't know.
I will say Anna Gibson got 2nd overall at the Gorge Waterfalls 30K. some pretty fast guys in there she
That's
beat.
pretty impressive too. Did she? I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Anna Gibson, what a stud. So
Yeah.
that, I mean, and talk about range for her, right? So this
Mhm.
1500 runner to now like getting second overall in the 30K, like that's a massive range too,
That is
you
a
know?
huge range. Yeah.
Yeah, celebrating that range. Oh God, can you imagine if she went up even more? I don't even want to think about it. Oh my gosh. What if Anna Gibson wanted to run states? What would happen? I mean, it's just so fun to think about. Anyway, I just big shout out to these speedsters, and people are really throwing down. It's really fun to see. I wanted to give a shout out to Ashley Brossovin too, who got second in the Desert Rats 50K, because it was her first race back after having a baby.
Yeah. Was it? No, she's run a couple different she's run a couple
Has she?
20Ks, I think. Didn't she go to she went to Mexico?
Oh, did she?
Yeah, here, I'll pull it up.
All I can say is that after, well, for sure coming back after pregnancy, but back after not running for a bit and then being able to put a performance like that together is pretty impressive. So, highly
Yeah.
recommend getting a rust buster before, but let's see if she did. Rachel's
Okay,
looking it
so
up.
she ran Grindstone 50K back in September. She was second, and then she
Okay.
ran the Puerto Vallarta by UTMB 20K and won
Okay.
that
Okay.
back in November.
Okay. So she's been back for a bit.
Yeah.
She on our group chat, it made it sound like this was like her big comeback, like she felt herself again, which is really
Yeah,
cool.
it might
So,
be. It's probably like I remember when I was coming back from having Lewis, I did a bunch of races that I definitely wasn't ready for. Like I was 20th at Broken Arrow, and then I was 19th at Dolomites, and then 20th at Sierra Zinal. So,
but then what happened to OCC?
oh yeah, that was good. Yeah, I got
Uh-huh.
6th at
Yeah.
OCC. Yeah.
Yeah. That was pretty insane. You went from like, in the 20s, like, racing well to like 6th at OCC, right? Like what? It happened out of nowhere. It felt like, whoa, like this
I remember
grand plan.
I was talking to Leah about that because obviously she's pregnant now and like kind of thinking about, her running and racing. And she's like, that was all the same summer that you were, I think I was like 21st or 22nd at Broken Arrow in June. And then in August had like crawled my way back to 6th at OCC. And she was just like, how did you
Mhm.
not let that shake your confidence to think like, okay, this is my new normal? But I think, and you've been through 2 pregnancies, that it's going to take some time and you're not going to be, you have so much room to grow after pregnancy as well.
Let's talk about that though, because yes, and when does that switch flip? Right? Like how, because it can take people years to get back to that sort of fitness, and also the mentality of like, oh, I'm fit enough to be able to go out hard like I used to, and to be able to trust your body the way it used to be able to run.
Yeah. Somebody just messaged me about this too, someone with a sacral stress fracture. And her question was more around when do you feel like you could trust your body again to
Mhm.
to train hard and to, really pound the downhills and that sort of thing. It's just so hard to say because it's time and it's a lot of physical therapy and strength and everyone's timeline's going to be different too. Like I think it took Adam Peterman even longer to recover from his sacral stress fracture from a I don't know if it was his body or his fitness or his confidence or what, but I just feel like looking at his racing, it seems like it took him longer. And I ran into him at a race and he was like, I'm just so inspired by, the way that you've navigated the same injury, which it's nice to, kind of grab onto people's stories who have similar trajectories to
Sure.
yours or who have gone through hard things that you're going through and come out the other side. And I would say it's not really a switch flipping. It's more of a dimmer and maybe there's a
Ooh, I
moment where
like
you're like,
that.
"Oh, I feel like I'm back." And for me there was never a moment in my postpartum journey where I was like, "Oh, heck yeah, I'm back." Like it was just a gradual process. Not glamorous at all.
I was thinking about this the other day, how, we always say there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. And I always think about like, no, there needs to be light in the tunnel. Just like, even if it's just little flickery, like fairy
Some
lights, like
twinkle
glowy
lights,
lights, twinkle lights in the tunnel. We just
some
need some twinkle
candles.
lights and know that lots of lights coming. That's fine. Like it'll be there.
It'll be
But
blinding.
but it will be blind. It's going to be there. But in the meantime, enjoy the little, sprinkles of light.
Yeah. Yeah. How are you feeling like, I mean, on your journey? Because I feel like you've had now a few moments where you're like, oh, I'm feeling like the old Katie again.
Yeah, I just had another road workout, my last big workout before canyons, and then I have to jump on the treadmill and do a heated treadmill workout. The things we do is just crazy. Anyways,
Are you going to wear that jacket on the treadmill?
no, I actually have this whole little heat suit that Pete's like, you need to get this. It does make me sweat more for sure. But I have like multiple layers and then I put that over all of it. I don't know.
Nice.
You look ridiculous, and
Is
you're
it
just
is
like,
it
why am I
white?
doing this?
Is it a white heat suit?
It's not white.
Oh,
No.
okay.
It's like
Okay.
metallic on the inside. It looks like kind of
Ooh,
like a
just
spacesuit.
reflects your heat back.
Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, I don't know. It's like we live in Mammoth Lakes. It's cold. So my garage is like freezing. It's like, I don't know, whatever. It takes a while to get hot. Anyways, but yeah, it's going okay. Honestly, I feel so much lighter than I felt
Nice.
before. I think I had nobody put pressure on me, but I felt pressure within myself. Like I
Mhm.
want to be back to myself and I want to be back to performing the way I know I can. And then Black Canyon happened and it was like, wait a minute, like that didn't go according to plan. And then there's this sort of lightness to it all. Like, well,
Mhm.
it just might take longer, back to the like dimmer, right? And it
Yeah.
just might take a little bit longer to kind of get back to full brightness. But I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling much different than I felt before Black Canyon. I don't know why I thought I was ready for Black Canyon. I wasn't. So I feel much better. I don't know if it's good enough for a ticket, but I'm going to go for it and see what happens. And honestly,
Awesome.
I think I've always raced like happy and light. And I think there's this part of me that I'm like, okay, I need to be really serious and focused and like, like this is how you run fast is like serious. And that's just not how I run. I run better when I'm happy and feel light and enjoy myself. And it doesn't mean that I need to be like chatty with everybody like I have been in the past during races. Maybe save some of that energy for myself, but I just want to feel like enjoying the experience because after all, what's the point of this if we're not
Yeah.
really, it's not adding to our lives. So don't get me wrong, I'm happily going into the pain cave and we'll suffer through things for sure. And to kind of like enjoy that process, not feel like it's like serious and hard and all these things. And it is hard, but like the idea of like loving the hard and
Yeah.
enjoying just being back to that suffer fest and it's a privilege to really be in that space. And so yeah, that's where I'm at right now. And I don't know, see what happens. It's freaking stacked and I love it. I want
Yeah.
to run where it's stacked because I want to
Totally.
be where it's competitive. So yeah, that's kind of what happened, to be honest with Gorge. I was like, oh, I really want to go where it's most competitive and I want to be able to get back into states if I can. So I'm trying to give
Mhm.
myself the opportunity. And that's why I decided to not run at Gorge. But it was a really hard decision because I would love to run for Team USA at some point. But yeah, okay. But I did wait, Rach. I want to talk to you about you were just mentioned very briefly precision fuel and hydration. Can
Yeah.
we like dig into that a little bit? I know our listeners are like, what? Tell us the secrets. What are you doing? What does this
Yeah.
professional say to you? Because I've
Yeah.
also worked
I
with a
will
nutritionist. So I'm
totally
curious.
comment on that, but I wanna just say one thing really quick
Oh,
about
okay.
everything you were saying about being serious versus being playful versus,
Mm,
suffering, and I think this is something that I realized maybe a year ago when I like, last year was my best year of racing, and I realized that in the past, I had kinda pushed against formalized training and weightlifting and my like, anything like performance enhancing things because I felt like it was gonna zap my joy, and I
mm,
realized that being joyful and trying hard and working hard can all coexist.
mm,
Not in the space of seriousness, but, like, you can joyfully work super hard and be diligent and be playful with it, like, they can all go together, you know?
Okay, just a super quick pause in our conversation, guys. You know that we work with John G on the podcast. They're a big fan of us. We're a big fan of them. I've been wearing a lot of their products on my trail runs recently, and I'm loving the Women's Sun Chaser 50 hooded long sleeve shirt. It's got a 50 plus UPF rating, which is super important to me, especially being in SoCal where the sun rays are a lot hotter here. I also don't love wearing sunscreen all the time, so it gives me the ability to cover my upper body without always being covered in sunscreen or having to reapply it. But I've been loving the fabric. It's super breathable and wicking, and so far, super impressed with it. So if you guys are looking for a sun hoodie for the summer as we get into the warmer day adventures, I totally recommend it. You can get 10% off of your John G order with the code Trail Network. All right, back to our episode.
I think inside, you know, the feeling between like hating every moment and kind of loving the hard. Do you know what I'm saying? There's that difference.
Yeah, totally. So I just wanted to try to, I guess, highlight the complexity of emotions you're feeling and say that I've felt that as well, and that it's okay to care deeply about something, and that doesn't mean that you're too serious or, you know, yeah, I think you're in a good headspace, so I'm excited for you.
Yeah. Thanks, Rach. I think I am too.
Yeah.
I'm just, I'm happy to be back, honestly. Just like this is so much more fun than not running.
Absolutely.
But anyway, I will say I've never done road workouts, which is wild. And I'm starting to like do road workouts and do track workouts and actually have speed, which I've never done in my whole career. I'm like, isn't
That's
that wild?
awesome.
It's
That's
crazy. I
awesome.
look at everybody else, I'm like, that's what you do to get fast. But in the past, I was just doing strides here and there. And now I'm actually focusing on speed. So that feels good.
Cool.
And also, it's hard and it's fun. But anyway,
So fun.
okay, can we talk about nutrition? Because we don't have too
Yes.
much time, but I
Yeah.
wanted to
Yep.
dig into that and what you've learned from this nutritionist.
Yeah. I think one of the things that, and I know you've been working on this for longer than I have, is just the hydration side of nutrition and how important it is to have enough hydration with your calories, your carbs. That's something I really botched when I ran Black Canyon last year. I think I had 120 grams of carbs per hour the first 3 hours with not much liquid, and my
Mm,
intestines didn't
mhm,
love that.
mhm.
So I ended up having a lot of bathroom breaks the whole rest of the race. Some caught on camera. No, I went into a porta potty, I think at Gloriana Mine, and that was
She
the
still
first
won,
of
ladies and gentlemen, just in
many.
case you're curious. But like, you know, beside the
But
fact.
when you think about optimizing
Yeah,
races, whether it's you're winning a race or you're just trying to run the fastest you can,
yeah.
even if you're, the back half at the end of the race, like just I think there's a lot of satisfaction in figuring out these pieces of the puzzle. So,
Right.
working on hydration is a big part of it. Also, just being really, really detailed with all of the planning in terms of exactly what you're carrying, exactly what you're going to eat, trying to anticipate. Okay, I'm going to bring these additional hydration packets so that when I fill up with water, I can use my hydration. Because a lot of times, aid stations, I will say at Western states, they use the correct dilution of the products they have on course. They have goo on course at Western states, and it's always great. But I've been to races before where the concentration of the electrolyte mix is off. Either it's too dilute or it's too concentrated. And when you're riding a fine line of going as hard as you possibly can, and then you have a weird variable like that, and you don't get enough calories from your drink mix, or you get too much, it's too concentrated, and then your stomach gets upset, that can make a big difference. So it's planning out, but it's also going to be a deep debrief after of exactly what I ate and when I ate it. And one thing my nutritionist I've been working with, Emily, said is try to have it be a steady drip of,
Mm.
try to eat something frequently and make sure that, you never go 45 minutes or an hour without taking something in. And I thought that was really smart too, because when I think about physiology and the way that our bodies work, like when we continue to eat, we're signaling to our digestive tract, hey, you need to continue keeping these things up and running. Please don't shut off, even though we are also trying to send a lot of resources to the muscles to work, but we also need the intestines to continue working. So I thought just hearing that from her was helpful as well.
Tell me about what you're doing with sodium. Have you had a sweat test? How are you using the H drop? How are you knowing your sodium fluid losses?
Yeah, I haven't done a sweat test yet. I am planning on doing one. I do think that'll be super useful information, but also with the caveat that it's going to change depending on conditions. My sweat rate as well is going to change depending on how hot out it is. For example, Tyler, I think at Western States, he had something like 700 or 800 cc's per hour. And then he ran a 12-hour up and
Rufa?
down on, Rufa back in February where, he's running through the snow. And by the way, you should check out our YouTube channel, Ultra Family Hustle. He made a video on there about it. It's really
Yes.
good. Yeah. He basically just videoed himself the entire race and talked about his strategy. But in that race, I think he only had 300 or 400 cc's of water per hour, which is about half of what he had at Western States. So, I'm still gathering data, but also acknowledging that there's still a lot of variables that will affect these things. We did calculate kind of my anticipated sodium intake per hour and made sure it was within a reasonable range.
Kind of like
Um,
average, sort of. Yeah.
yeah. And I think I'm not going to use bicarb for this race, but for folks that do use bicarb, I know that that has a lot of sodium in it. So make sure you consider that when you're doing your sodium calculations if you are planning on taking bicarb, either at the start of a race or, midway through a long one.
So we don't know this for sure because I work with Vic Johnson and we had thought about this before Black Canyon. I did do bicarb, but we used that sodium in my calculations about what I needed. But I think that like back to your drip discussion,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that
Oh, the
huge
big
bolus,
bolus.
it's a
Yeah.
massive bolus of sodium. And so I think that we had thought of it like in my total amount throughout the whole day. Yeah, we're going to use that sodium as a part of your totals. But the bolus in the beginning was way more than my body could handle it. And so clearly there was some GI distress that came with it as well. It was not fun. It could have been
Yeah.
that or like the
Sorry.
massive bag of Fritos that I had the day prior. Who knows? But the point is that I will also not be using bicarb in long races. I have used it a couple times for workouts. I do think it feels good, whether it's placebo or not, with workouts. And I think it makes me faster in that regard, but I'm done using it for ultras. Nope, done. But I know other people use it. Tara uses it. I don't know, but
Have you ever tried like decreasing your dose, like only doing like a half or a third of the packet?
I just started doing half. That's what I've been using for my workouts is just half of the 25. So I
25.
use the
Isn't it
25 and
like
then I'll just use half of it. More
isn't
bang
it
for your
like
buck. I
15,
don't know.
17, 19?
No, there's a 25. So that's what
Oh,
I have.
big
Mhm.
dog.
But I only do half of it. So
That's still 15.
not quite.
Like 12.5, but it's like, yeah, that's still a
I mean, I think
decent.
that's what I think it's actually lower than what I could be taking. I think probably more 15 is probably what my body probably could take, but I just don't want GI distress.
Yeah.
So anyway, but super interesting. I really want you to get sweat tested now and tell us about it. I
Yeah. Yeah,
also
I
think
will.
everyone needs an H drop. So just a plug. It's like the same cost as a like precision sweat test, just saying. And you get to use it while you're running and it tells you your fluid loss and your sodium loss during your
Oh,
runs.
so why would you get sweat tested if you can
I
just buy
know.
an H drop?
That's what I'm saying.
I think you are using too much bicarb to begin with, because I just went on their website and did the calculation of
Mhm.
like weight. I don't know how much you weigh. I don't need to know, but I know that you don't weigh 200 pounds.
I don't weigh 200 pounds. Yeah.
And it says that you should do the 12, which is, I mean, if you're using half of 25, that is 12, but like,
Yeah.
maybe try using a quarter for a race or something. And
Yeah.
I don't know.
just for, I don't know. I'm like, I just don't really want to
No,
mess with
but
it.
don't nothing new
Yeah.
on race day
Nothing.
and
I'm
all
just,
that, but
yeah.
just kind of curious, like, if, there's a way to still achieve a benefit without the GI distress.
Yeah. The nutrition part of all of this is so fun and exciting. I will say I started eating red meat because I wasn't absorbing iron. Like that was a big change for me. I haven't had red meat in 2 decades, right?
Wow.
I mean, I
Yeah.
just have it like once every couple weeks, but just having something to like replenish those iron stores because I'm just not absorbing my iron supplement. So things like that, it really makes a difference. Yeah, highly recommend get
Red meat.
understanding your body a little more. It seems like we should have done this a long time ago, right?
Hey,
Starting now, no time like the present.
we got a lot of good years ahead of us.
That's right. That's right. Oh my gosh. Okay. We should probably wrap this up, but I am so excited about Japan for you. Give me one thing you're most looking forward to.
Just some quality time with Tyler, I think. We went to Hong Kong together, just the two of us, and I feel like I didn't realize how little we had been able to like really, just have quality time, just the two of us. And yeah, there's a lot that you can accomplish in a day when you're not full on parenting. So I'm excited. We're gonna be sad that Lou's not with us, but just excited to connect with him.
Where's Lou going to be?
My parents
Okay.
in Minnesota. Yeah. Thanks, mom and dad. Love you guys.
Yay. Okay. Well, I'm so excited. I can't wait for the recap. Maybe you and Ty can come on and give us a little recap
Yeah.
about
Yeah,
Japan.
we can definitely do that.
I would love that. I would love that so
It should
much.
be if he finishes his race in like a sort of winning podium type time, he should be finishing right as I'm starting my race.
Oh my gosh. Come on. That's got to encourage him to go faster.
That's what I told him. I'm like, I need your required gear for my race so you can hand it over.
Yeah, right. Just hand me your whole bag and then we'll go.
Oh, one more thing I wanted to mention that had me super excited is USA Track and Field posted about Gorge Waterfalls 100K, the world's qualifier, on
Get
their
out.
Instagram, which I thought was super cool. Just that, trail running's getting some more mainstream
That
media
is
attention
super
in the
cool.
running space.
There's so much going on, but that's really exciting. I feel like more and more as we get faster and faster and there's more and more money in the sport, hopefully we can get some more of those roadsters to try out our trails. It's fun to watch.
Totally.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody for joining us on another episode of the Trail Network podcast. We are so happy to have you along for the ride. Signing out, Katie Asmuth, Rachel Drake. Till next
Bye.
time. Bye.